G'day YouTubers, Electric Adventures here with the next episode in Electric Adventures The Games. We're still on Program Pack 5. Hold it up there. So last time we did Space Invaders. The next one is called Sub Hunt. And this one does include a little bit of machine code. Right. Sorry, just get the cursor in the right spot. So let's see how big the listing is first. Data there, there's quite a few shapes in this one. 64 lines long. Alright, let's run him and see how we go. So, Sub Hunt. I've always quite liked this one. I believe there was an arcade game that's similar to this one. So I'm the ship up on top, and you can basically drop a depth charge out of the right or left of your ship. You can only have two on the screen at once. You've got to not get shot by the subs. Oh, missed him. Look out, everyone. And deeper you hit. Actually, this one does not have any machine code. I was wrong. This is all done in BASIC. And it's quite good because I've used two colours for the subs, so you get the different coloured number. And even my main ship is made up of a couple of sprites, and as you can see, it's starting to get faster already. This is a good fun game that obviously has a bit of challenge in it. You know, timing your shots to get some of them. Speeds up, and there's not a lot of enemies moving. So. No, we're not going to get that one. He's going pretty big. Ooh, look out. Oh, got that one. Good. You gotta watch those 10s because they can, you know, very quickly let off a shot. And then those 20s are pretty dangerous, so that was pretty lucky. Alright, missed. Look out. As you can see, it's already speeding up quite well. I think every submarine you miss makes the difficulty go up. Yeah, we're not going to get those ones. Oh, look at how fast that's going. Ooh, we've got one. You can see they're quite literally flying over the screen now. It's another one that illustrates difficulty levels quite well. Oh, look out. Yeah, it does get faster until you get wiped out. Oh, he got me. That's close. He could have shot me as he went over me. I've still managed to get some scores. harder to get them now. Oh goodness. I was very lucky to survive those two fast moving ones. Oh, and got me. So 510, that's probably a good score. So as you can see, it is a fun little game. Alright, let's go get set up and we'll have a look at the source code together. Okay, so I've loaded him up, so let's have a look. So the first part of the program, of course, is going to be setting up our screen, setting our normal random function, opening our handle to the screen. Line 20 there sets our basic colours, our screen mode, makes all the variables integers, which saves a bit of memory and speeds things up. And then line 30, we draw our sub-hunt title with a little box around it. While in line 40 we go and read in all the sprite shapes, which obviously takes a little bit of time. There's a few sprite shapes. Line 50, this is after the sprite's been read in. We've set our high score to 1000. We set up our colour scheme, we clear the screen, and we draw our line of our basically our section of C in down the bottom. And we put the score and number of ships and high score up at the top and put press trigger to begin. 960 there. Right, line 70, we're looking for either joystick 1 or the keyboard joystick, which is spacebar, to be pressed, and otherwise we go around in a loop. Else we set everything up for our game. So we set our score, our subs, LL's probably our level. We draw a line over where it said press trigger to begin, so that's rubbed out. Line 80, we set our initial X position, which is in the middle of the screen for our sprite, and it takes two sprites next to each other. We set our on interval, so that's our timer. So interval equals 600, so every second it'll go sub to 390. So remember that when we get to 390, and we turn interval on. Line 90, we get the direction of the joystick. If A equals 3, which is to the right, we increase our X coordinate and we make sure we haven't gone off the right hand side of the screen, otherwise we're correct. Line 100, A equals 7 is to the left, and we move X to the left and make sure we haven't got too far to the left. So fairly simple so far. Okay, line 110, we use VPoke to quickly just set the X coordinate of our sprite chip without having to do a full put sprite, which would change all the values and take longer. So that's the fast way of doing it. Line 120, we're going if not, in other words not if there is not a trigger pressed, or A equals 0, not sure what A is at the moment, or A doesn't equal 3 or A doesn't equal 7. Right, okay, so we're looking for, A was what we stored the direction of the joystick in. So if we haven't moved the joystick, then we can't fire. So I had to press to the left and fire at the same time to shoot out of the left hand side of my ship, and press to the right and fire to shoot out the, so that's all that logic's doing there. Otherwise we jumped to 140, in other words no shot was fired. Line 130, we're looking, well, we're going to the right, and our R is obviously our right depth charge. We're making sure that's 0, then otherwise we make R equals 1 when it's on the screen, and we set its X coordinate to be where the ship is, plus 32, so it's on the right hand side of the ship, and we set its Y to 28, which is the level of the ship, and we go sub 370, which probably puts it on the screen. Else, if A equals 7, which is going to the left, and our left bullet isn't used, then we put the left bullet on the screen, and it uses the same display routine. So line 370 will be an interesting one. Line 140. Right, so if QQ equals 0, then QQ equals 1. Right, it's flipping a value. So we'll work out what that does later. Line 150. If R, so R, remember R was our value for our right depth charge. If it's 0, we skip to 170. Otherwise, this is all about moving our depth charge lower and lower. So it's increased, right? So at least 160 to 200. We're using the full So put sprite command to actually put the depth charge, because I suppose it's not really changing the X. We could have made this a little faster by only setting the Y coordinate, and I know what QQ is. It's basically so the depth charge looks like it's tumbling. We're flipping between two different sprite shapes, and that's what the QQ is used for. So there's obviously sprites shapes 10 and 11. And goes up 340. We'll have a look at that later. So 170 is where we do exactly the same thing for the left-hand depth charge. And now 190, I would guess we are looking to see whether a sub is not already out and whether we're going to place it on the screen. So we're inside a for loop. So I think we can have up to 3 enemies on the screen at once, which is, no, it's enough for a basic thing, considering we've got 2 bullets and the main ship to animate. So that's what I had to do, was come up with games that were appropriately limited for the amount of sprites we could move around. So line 210 is if our sub is on the screen, and I would say direction 1, so it's going to the right. And we check to make sure it hasn't gone all the way off the right, otherwise we get rid of it. Line 220 is the same, but our sub is obviously going to the left. Once again, probably could have made this... Oh no, we are using VPoke to actually do the movement of the ships, so that's line 230. The other put sprites were when we're rubbing the sprite out if it's gone off the right hand side. Although we probably could have done a VPoke and just put 209 into the A coordinate. And I reckon, yeah, we've got a subroutine to make a bang sound too. Okay, line 240, put sprite 5 plus A. Oh, okay, so that's actually putting... Just interested to see why it is actually using VPoke and a put sprite command. Oh, I know what it is. That's the number. So we're putting the actual number over the top of the ship, because each of the subs is a left and a right hand sprite shape and then a number over it. And that would be determined on how deep the sub is, would use the right sprite. So there's going to be lots of sprite shapes in this one. Line 250. So if we're alive and our missile, so each sub has a missile, is 0, and we use our random function, then we set our missile up to fire, and there's a little, put the sprite on the screen and we play a little sound. So there's a lot going on. Oops. Missed a digit. Right, line 260. So this is when our missile is on the screen and we're moving it up the screen. We're checking whether it's gone off the top of the screen, otherwise we get rid of it. And there's a sound thing there. I'm just trying to see whether it does the collision detection. So it's just doing a little putt sound when it reaches the top. And then line 270 is the end of our next statement, and we go to 90. So that's our entire loop. So now we're into the subroutines. So line 280, I'd say, is putting our ship on the screen, I think. We're putting I think that's putting all the sprites on the screen in their initial position. Right, so that's one subroutine. Line 300. Okay, that's to do with the missiles of each of the ships. Or was it direction? No, that was the direction the ships were moving. So 310 does a similar thing. Otherwise it all returns. So line 320 is a new subroutine. We're going through all 3 ships, and this is our collision detection, seeing whether they've actually hit our main ship. Line 330 is when we've hit something and we're getting our score added on, and we're getting rid of the original shape. Line 340 I would say, is a little bit more collision detection. So, yeah, so it's collision detecting right, X, right. Yeah, so one's for the left depth charge and the other one's for our right one. Line 350, we've increased the score again. So it's another scoring routine. Can be a little hard to tell sometimes unless we've got this all mapped out. And we seem to have... Sorry, I leant on the... Right, line 360's got a sound routine. That might be us exploding. Oh no, well no, it's... yeah, us exploding, I think. There's two different sound routines that are called there from various places. Line 380 is updating the score. Line 390, so this is our interval routine, remember we saw that earlier? So that after every second it's incrementing our level. So that's why, so it's but not based on how many subs you let go, it's actually based on the amount of time that passes. So that's why it was getting so fast quite quickly. And that's all that interval routine does that, increments the thing, turns the interval back on and returns. So line 400 looks like a bit of a collision routine, so it's detecting bullets. Yeah, so probably bullets of the... so this is where the bullets of the subs are detecting whether they're hitting our ship. 450. Well, I think we're just about there on all the subroutines now. Right, so line 410 is our routine we call when we die. And you can see it's decreasing our lives and printing a new one there, and a little bit of a delay. Well, it probably just resets everything. And line 420 is setting everything up, and then you can see the last bit of 420 that's very hard to read. It's seeing whether we've got any lives left, and going back to 80, and we keep going. Otherwise, we start displaying game over. And line 430 to see if we got the high score and put up record score. And then we think about that for a while. So count to 4,000. So that's probably about 4 or 5 seconds. We rub that out and go back to the title screen. And 450 is a trap all. Interesting. You wouldn't actually ever want to go there, otherwise you would never go anywhere else. So I would say from now on is all of our sprite and other data. So not a bad little program for 64 lines of code. It's got quite a lot of sprite shapes, as you can see. It's quite a few different sprites of different sizes, and quite a fun game as well. One of the ones that I'm more proud of that I wrote back in the day, they used to like playing as well. So, alright, I hope everybody is enjoying this series. I definitely enjoy making these videos. We've got one more game on Program Pack 5 to get on to next episode. Alright, I'm Electric Adventures. Thanks to all my subscribers. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.